Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Welcome, one and all. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, there we go. And Jesse, Jose, thank you so much for being here first. And hello and happy Saturday, maybe Sunday morning to the rest of you. Okay, and yes, all in the family. All in the family. You see there? Just one big happy Netflix family. All in the family. That's all. We just family here. Nothing to look at. Emilio Rodriguez, thank you for being here. Angela M. Sharon Chung. Ingrid Sowers. Mary H. Emerald Derrick, thank you for being here. Compton Caligal. Okay. And a bunch of other people. Welcome, welcome. All right. Let's get on with it, shall we? The countdown continues. We are on our way to Australia. Now, there's going to be a long flight, I suspect. So the Sussexes are going to have to get there just a little early so they can get their rest, or maybe they're just in the region. Maybe they might stop along the way. That's something to think about. But yeah, anyway, it's going to happen really soon. And I do have some information on the itinerary, so I will share that with you in due. Yes, it's going to be very interesting. I was thinking about taking a little road trip, but I'm like, nah, I'm going to be too excited about Australia. I won't be able to relax and enjoy myself. So I better stick close to home. Okay. Oh, let me turn my ringer off. Okay. All right. Very cool. All right, let's continue here. So, Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, I'm sure that's what they meant to say, and His Royal Highness Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, have glam night out at Netflix CEO Ted Sarando's star-packed Montecito party. The event was also attended by Justin Trudeau, Katy Perry, Orlando Bloom, who was not attending with Katy Perry, and of course the Sussexes. Oh, and Carrie Mulligan, whoever that is. I don't know who she is. Carrie Mulligan. Anyway, so they say that the Sussexes stepped out for a stylish date night at a star-studded private party hosted by the Netflix CEO Ted Sarandos. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex were photographed spending a glamorous night at the Montecito, California home of Sarandos and his wife, Nicole Avant. Oh, they say that happened Friday, huh? And we're only just now getting the photos? It was for Beef Season 2, Montecito Tastemaker event. Huh, what is beef season? Let me click on that. Oh, I see. Uh-huh. Okay. Well, I've never heard of it before, but I bet it's good if it's on Netflix. Well, anyway, They say that Meghan wore the Heidi Merrick's gale gown. Yeah, it's called the gale gown in chartreuse, paired with Jimmy Choo's strappy heels, and Harry wore a simple navy suit with a white button-down shirt. Well, you know what? The chartreuse and the navy goes quite well together, so that's a good look for those Sussexes. A number of celebrities were in attendance at the event, including Beef Season 2 stars Oscar Isaac, Carey Mulligan, and Charles Melton, as well as Katy Perry, Justin Trudeau, Orlando Bloom, and Bear actor Lionel Boyce, and more. There was even more people there. Harry and Meghan were seen smiling and posing for photos with Sarantos and Avant. In one photo, Meghan and Avant hold hands, and in another, the two women share a warm hug. Okay, well, see, there you go. They are holding hands. You know what? I didn't even notice that. How sweet. Oh, you know what? That did not, that didn't lift off of her hair disappear. All right, there it is right there. But yeah, I didn't realize they were holding hands. That's very sweet. Now, you see there, they must be very good friends. Hello, Lydia Washington, Karine Lovely, Joy Amore, Joan Garcia, Vanessa Jones, and Delia McDonald. Welcome, welcome. All right. And a nice warm hug. Very nice. That's why I decided to put the caption on the thumbnail, All in the Family, because they really are just like family to one another. And remember, love is all it takes to make a family. So let me make sure I didn't skip anything. Go back. Okay. So yeah, this was the next photo. So Meghan and Sarantos. Again, this is a gathering at Ted Sarantos and his wife. Is it Maria Avant? Yeah. Oh my goodness, is that her first name? Nicole Avant. Where did I get Maria from? Nice. And here is a nice open outdoor shot of the occasion. You can see Meghan is on the right, and I kind of enlarged the photo so you can see her up close. So it looks like a nice gathering. And what a beautiful outdoor space. Doesn't it seem like they're in Italy? You know, Montecito does have that very Spanish, Italian, Mediterranean feel to it. It really does. Even with the cypress trees and olive groves and such, the vineyards, something about that part of California is very reminiscent of Mediterranean locations. Okay, one more group shot. I think it's pretty much the same as the other. But yeah, so that's what the Sussexes were up to. Says here the Duke and Duchess of Sussex appearance at the Netflix event comes amid the, oh, here we go with the revisionist history. Yes, the Variety report alleging tensions between the couple and the streaming giant, claims that have been previously denied by both Sussexes and Netflix. In a later, in a letter that is to Variety, the couple's attorney, Michael J. Kump, disputed the claims, saying in part Meghan's text and speaks with Mr. Sorrento's regularly and has been to his home. Well, there she is at his home. The Netflix chief content officer, Bella Bajara, also spoke out about the claims that the next Netflix event in March 18th, telling those in attendance, don't believe whatever you read. That's what Bella Bajara said. Don't believe whatever you read. After suggesting a little fact checking, Bella also said that the company is still working, has a working relationship with Meghan and Harry, and has current projects with them in in development. In development on the TV and the film side. Yeah. And she said deals come and go all the time. So, but she said, I guess there's no juicy story there. Um, yeah. So that just goes to show Harry and Meghan, the most irrelevant um couple in the world, for whatever reason, if you just say anything about them, it is good for some clickbait headlines and such. There we go. This is what I was looking for. See there? There's Bella right there. Says we have a relationship with them. We have movies in development with them. We have an amazing documentary with them. And they have things in development on the TV and film side. See, they didn't want to have to say those things. Usually, when you have to say something, it seems rather awkward, but it was just too much nonsense out there, you know? And so finally, uh, Bella Bajara and the Sussex's lawyers, they had enough of it. They're just like, okay, if we're forced to put out a statement, let's do it. But it really wasn't necessary because nothing has changed. They still have their first look deal, and they are not poor. They are not poor. Along with the reporting about the strained relations with Netflix, they were also insinuating that the Sussexes were running out of money. Nothing could be further from the truth. So just have a laugh and sing a song. Okay, just have a laugh and sing a song. They certainly are. They are living their best life. Whatever the tabloids say, it is nonsense. Do not believe them. Got one more picture coming up here. Let's see, Prince Harry pictured with Lionel Boyce and John Corbett at Netflix's Beef Season 2 event in Montecito. Oh, that is John Corbett. I almost didn't recognize him, but you may remember John Corbett from My Big Fat Greek Wedding, right? I think he played the husband, the fiance, soon to be husband. I love that movie, My Big Fat Greek Wedding. Especially the thing with that cake. Remember the cake? Oh, that's beautiful. What is it? It's a bunt. A what? A bunt. A bunk. A bunt. Oh, I know. It's a cake. So then finally, after she realized that a bunt meant bunt cake, do you remember how she's brought it back out later? She took it in the kitchen. She says, that cake has a hole in it. Ah, that was a good movie. Oh, the aunt was your favorite character? Yeah, and then she brings the cake back. She goes, everyone, I fix, I fix. And because the bundt cake had a hole in it, she decided the best way to fix it was to take a small house plant and just stick it down in the center of the bundt cake. Ah, that was hilarious. You could hear my mouth all over the movie theater laughing. I love that scene. It's a bunt. A what? A bunt. A bunk. A bunt. Oh. Let's see. Janice Goodrich. Good night, Baron and Squatties. Well, good night to you too. Thank you so much for being here. All right. Now the dress, the Heidi Merrick dress that Meghan is wearing, has frequently worn Chicago. What is that? California-based designer Heidi Merrick, choosing the brand for major public appearances, royal tours, and her Netflix series. Most recently, on April 10th, 2026, the Duchess of Sussex was spotted in a Heidi Merrick ensemble for a Netflix event in Montecito. Okay. Well, that is one of her go to brands. All right. Good for her. Good for her. Also, you may remember this number from Heidi Merrick. Remember that one? Ah, that was so cool when they arrived and they walked around those Range Rovers and everything. That was so cool the way I mean, that is how you make an entrance. That is how you make an entrance. Looking like money, looking like some good money from head to toe. Yes, they definitely had that look of old money, quiet luxury, royalty. Loved it. That was quite that was that's like one of my favorite pictures of them actually, or videos, is when they arrived at the polo game and and of course they both got their sunglasses on. Great photo. If it's anything the Sussexes know how to do well, and that is arrive. They definitely know how to make an arrival. Okay. So I got an email from the Duchess of Sussex. Um, it was a private email. Every so often, Megan sends me stuff. I don't like to share it because, you know, but I'll just share this one with you. It says a family style table invites everyone in, encourages lingering, and turns small talk into memorable conversations. That is, there's no need to overcomplicate it. Some of the best gatherings happen when things feel easy and shared. I know this is so personal and she wrote it just for me, but I'm sharing it with you. Build your menu with sharing in mind. Seasonal salad, fresh bread with fruit spreads and small dishes passed from hand to hand. Keep it simple. Let guests serve themselves. Easy beverages to pour and mix on their own and settle in, right? Because when everything is shared food, time, and attention, the table becomes a place to return to time and time again. So, listen, you guys, just keep this one to yourself. I don't want everybody to know that Meghan sends me little messages like this. But you know, it makes me feel special. She also shared this with me. Yeah, some couple of personal photos that she took herself, like setting a platter up for um, some a meal outside there. So again, please don't tell anybody that the Duchess sent me this. Um, I'm just sharing it with you all, my 402 closest friends. Signature fruit spread gift box. Gotta have it. Gotta have it. And also, don't forget to have a little of that as ever rosé. The rosé is perfect for the summer. Remember the first round of rosé, the bottles that were like rocket fuel? They had, what was it, like 20% alcohol content, something like that. I mean, it's just like if you take a sip of it, it would put you on the moon. So the next round of rosé, they took it down just a little bit because I'm telling you that that first round of rosé would make your hair stand up. It's good stuff though. Good stuff. I mean to tell you, it tickled my nose. I took a sniff of it and it seemed like it singed all the hair inside of my nostrils. I'm like, oh, this is some good stuff here. So that was some strong. I didn't know rosé could be that strong. Yeah, like 90 proof or whatever it was. But that was some powerful rosé. I tell you, you never really know a person. I bet Megan was like, not too strong for me. uh, hello, Barbara Canada. Thank you for joining us. And everyone, please don't forget to hit that like button. Hit that like button. So, Jim O'Neill just had a Zoom call with Meghan, Duchess of Sussex. And I tell you, the joy that she is feeling about this visit to Australia is contagious. It's like I'm excited for her. So let me play the sound for you, and then we'll talk on the other side. Okay, Gemma.
I've literally just got off a Zoom with Meghan, and first of all, I had loads of kookaburras were going in the background. Like I've got wet hair because I just got out of the shower. It couldn't have been any more kind of real, and she was just so divine, so beautiful. I just immediately loved chatting to her. She was just amazing, and I just adore her already, and I'm so excited for those in our community that are joining us next weekend to have the opportunity to experience how brilliant she is as well. And I know she's really looking forward to it, and she can't wait to be in a room with our community and great women. And she was like, let's just have real chat, let's just woman to woman, let's just go for it. And I just have to say, I'm already like her biggest fan. So I can't wait to see those who are coming. Thank you so much for all the support. I have had a bit of retreating, I guess I'd say, the last few weeks whilst I processed a few personal things which I have shared previously, and I am feeling a little bit more like myself, and I'm starting to really get excited about being with this amazing group of women next weekend, and I can't wait to see you all there.
Okay. You guys, I do pray that everything goes well for this for the entire trip to Australia, but in particular for this women's retreat, because there are going to be people there that are spending some hard-earned money, I'm sure. And it is worth everything to them that they have this connection with other women, women that are there to fellowship, to have all of the spirituality of this retreat, being able to spend some time with the Duchess of Sussex. And of course, we know there is some very negative people out there, some very cruel, mean spirited people that want nothing more than to disrupt things. It's not Meghan's fault. It's not Gemma's fault that there are people that are asking Charles and William, what did they know and when did they know it? It's not their fault that they have been confronting Camilla and other members of the royal family. They want to take some heat off of the left behind royals. And one way to achieve that is to keep finding things to heave upon the Sussexes. This is not a royal tour. They are not doing the walkabouts and all those things. When they take these trips, they are continuing things that are very important to them, things that are near and dear to their hearts, philanthropy, humanitarian work. Those are the things that they've always done, and they will continue to do it. When the Sussexes travel, everything goes extremely well. It's like a well-oiled machine. That's why they kept that, what's his name? That's why they were glad to keep him on for these trips abroad, because obviously they have a formula for doing these things. However, some of the best organization in the world may not be good enough when it comes to these hateful keyboard warriors out there and those rogue elements that call themselves the Royal Rota and all the rest of those so-called journalists. So they're going to need our prayers, they're going to need our support, and they're going to need those of us with platforms to call them out, to expose them when they have overstepped the mark, because they are definitely going to try. But let's hope that the screening process is tight enough that everything goes as smoothly as possible. So, yeah, that is my hope, my prayer. And either way, I will be here to support the both of them. And I hope you guys will find your way over to Royal Sussex during that period of travel, because I will definitely be all over it like a cheap suit. Yeah, the usual scapegoats. Let's see. I believe the Sussex family around the globe, covering them in prayer, as always. And we're going to pray even harder this time. Okay. So, that is Mark. You know, I could not figure out who Mark Dyer was. And I don't know, I guess I forgot, but he's the former Welsh Guards officer and royal equerry, widely regarded as a foundational mentor to him and Prince Harry following the death of Diana, often described as Prince Harry's second father. He has remained a close confidant and trustee of Harry's charitable endeavors for decades. So when you hear that Mark Dyer was mentioned in this thing with Sophie. That is Mark Dyer. And of course, that's the statement that they made, um, categorically reject these offensive and damaging claims. It is extraordinary that charitable funds are now being used to pursue legal action against the very people who built and supported the organization for nearly 2 decades. Now, that is from a spokesman for the Duke of Sussex. So, yeah. Okay, so now you guys know that is Mark Dyer. I couldn't figure out who he was. Um, and I guess Harry wrote about him in Spare, didn't he? Well, he called him Marco, right? Is that the one he referred to as Marco? Oh well. Anyway, he's a tough guy and a good mentor for Harry, I'm sure. Okay, moving on. Oh, this is the itinerary. Let me I'm gonna play the sound for that.
Prince Harry and Meghan Markle's upcoming visit to Australia have been revealed. There are reports the pair will stop in Melbourne, Canberra and Sydney. They're expected to visit a children's hospital and to also make appearances linked to Veterans Affairs and mental health. Meghan is also set to attend a women's homeless shelter, with Harry also set to make an appearance with an AFL club in Melbourne and attend a rugby union match in Sydney. The 4-day visit starts next Tuesday, with the Duchess set to speak at a luxury women's retreat at the Intercontinental Hotel at Coogee in Sydney.
Okay, so that was 7 News Australia. And that is the itinerary. If you need to, take a screenshot. Otherwise, like I said, I will be covering everything as per usual. Again, if you think you may need that, go ahead and take a screenshot. And what do we have next? Oh, yes, Karma. Karma has visited Eamonn Holmes yet again. Eamonn Holmes admitted to hospital after stroke. Yes, the broadcaster is responding well to treatment. This guy is one medical emergency after another. It just keeps happening, which is why you ought to leave people alone. It doesn't cost anything to be nice to people. Anyway, they rolled him into the hospital and then they rolled him right back out. They rolled him in and they rolled him out. They slid him in there and then they just slid him right back out. So Eamonn Holmes recovering in hospital after suffering a stroke. Now, of course, you know, they say there's that golden hour, right? Where you got to get them there as soon as possible. And that could possibly reduce the recovery time and so on and so forth. So, what can I say? This guy is indestructible. He'll be back on television probably as soon as Monday. Yeah. But I'm sure he's getting the best of care. Okay. Now, Prince William's rift with Uncle Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor was only for the public, is what a new book claims. Biographer Robert Hardman reveals Prince William's private sympathy for his Uncle Andrew, defying the public narrative of a royal rift. Did I not say that? Isn't that what I said? I have been saying that for a few weeks. I said there is no bad blood between Andrew and Willie Leaks. I never believed there was. I kept saying, it's not true. Andrew is still a much cherished member of that clan, family. Why do I keep calling them clan? Anyway, he is a much loved member of the family. And so the press can go on and on about his title being taken away and him being bounced around from one property to the next. It does not matter. If they thought they could get away with it, Andrew would be at the Royal Ascot. Andrew will be at Trooping the Colors. Andrew would be all of the places that the Royals attend if they thought they can get away with it. The only reason why it's not possible is because of the press. The press loves to, drag Andrew every so often. Not enough, if you ask me, but it doesn't mean that the family doesn't care about him. The ones that they don't care about are the ones who got away from all that nonsense. So don't believe the hype. See there, William allegedly contacted Andrew on the day Charles stripped him of his titles to offer his condolences in a bombshell phone call. Don't they overuse the word bombshell? One of the few to reach out, Prince William offers condolence to disgraced Uncle Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor and shock phone call after titles stripped. Prince William allegedly contacted Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor on the day King Charles stripped him of his titles to offer his condolences. So there's two with Sky News, one with Hello. I'm going to just assume that this is pretty accurate. I am going to accept it at face value. I never thought there was something that was so terrible that, they don't give a rat's behind about the victims. They really don't. Especially Charles. Now we know that William is much the same. Like father, like son. The apple doesn't fall too far from the tree. Oh, well. Yeah, it was just, you know what? It was just a bunch of smoke and mirror. It was all, but what gets me though, take a look at this. All of the headlines, William's fury at Prince Andrew's funeral ambush. Really? Was he that furious? Second by second. They went, the reason why I didn't believe it, well, one reason why I didn't believe it is because they were putting too much into it. They were trying to make us believe something that was not there. What is that saying? Thou dost protest too much. They were protesting too much. And they were like, I don't know. I'm guessing it was from Kensington Palace. I think people need to believe that William somehow is a cut above his father, right? And I guess there's a lot of people that are hedging their bets that William is going to be a much needed breath of fresh air for the monarchy, and they just have a very strong need to differentiate him from his father. That's what I'm seeing. Why that's so important, I don't know. They're hereditary. So what difference does it make whether people like them or hate them? They have job security. They have job security. And there seems to be no limit to how gullible people are. even people who do not care for the monarchy, they casually just admit that they um they don't think about it one way or the other. And most people just go about their business. It doesn't you it's like you cannot even mention the costs and get a reaction out of people. They don't care how much it costs. They really do not care. It's like if the monarchy was there or not there, I wonder how long it would take people to notice it, right? How long would it take people to notice that the monarchy was missing if you like made it disappear tomorrow? I would say it'd probably be about it'd probably take as long as it would take to circulate new bills into the banking industry. Whenever they switch out the currency, I think that's when people would start asking questions. Yeah, that's when they would start asking questions. What happened to that asshole that was on the £5 note? They got rid of them. Oh, okay. I bet you there would be very little reaction. Let's see. Do I have that video handy? Do I have that video handy? Oh, okay. Here we go. Now remember, William is furious. He's furious. Look at him. He's ready to just rip his uncle's face off. Do you see that? See how he's bristling and grimacing at his uncle? All William is thinking about is all those countless victims. Right? And let us not forget, the only other person that was even more comfortable with him being there was, of course, Charles. Let's take a look at another one. You see, this is why we keep receipts. This is why we keep receipts. Because of nonsense like this, they try to tell you anything. They will pee on your leg and tell you it's raining. Okay. Okay, where's the other receipt? Here's one.
And during the service, we can see William and Catherine just standing there at the front of the mourners was a Scottish bagpipe lament, the same lament that was performed during Queen Elizabeth's funeral in 2002. You can see the King standing alongside William and Catherine there. We're expecting the cortege will slowly move off. The Queen has pulled out of attending the funeral, the first to be held for a member of the monarchy in British history. Among the things that happened during the service, we can see William and Catherine just standing there at the front of the mourners was a Scottish bagpipe lament, the same lament that was performed during Queen Elizabeth's funeral in 2002. You can see the King standing alongside William and Catherine there.
Wow. Did you see the way he just headbutt Fergie? Did you see the way he just headbutt Fergie? You see how he elbowed Andrew? Did you see that? He just did a big headbutt to Fergie and elbowed Andrew because he's so upset and furious that how dare they attend a family function? Oh, he's outraged, right? I just wanted you guys to see it because if you listen to the press, like I said, it did not happen. For whatever reason, they felt like they need to make this big to do about how he wasn't welcome. But the truth is, that family still loves them some Andrew, Prince Andrew, the Duke of York, as he's been for a long time and will continue to be. Let's see. Carolyn Baker. Let's see. Big Dummy needs Andrew because he can't use Harry to help him with those red boxes. Why is he trying to raise money just before that lawsuit was filed? Huh. There you go. There you go. Yeah. And you know what? Thank you so much for the super chat. The sooner that they can give a reform Andrew's you know life, his profile, as soon as they can reform him, he will be able to go back to doing royal duties. Now, it is not very likely that that's going to happen, but I do believe the family remains hopeful that somehow they can incorporate Andrew back into the fold. I don't think they've given up yet. They're just waiting for a lot of this stuff to die down. But yeah, Andrew's not going anywhere. Time will tell. Time will tell. It seems pretty hopeless now, but I would not be surprised if they give him that free pass that he's looking for, because the public tolerates more things than we ever give them credit for. All you have to do is look at the president of the United States. All of those things should have excluded him for even filing his intention to run for president, but yet he did. And every day there's a new test to see what else he can get away with. And so far, it's been just about everything. Just about everything. So never say never. I know it seems hopeless for Andrew, but mark it down. Remember, I said it. What is this? April the 11th, 2026, 10:51 p.m. There's still hope to reform him and to get him back into public service again. So we'll see. Let's see. Will's Andrew Fury. Yeah, right. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Yeah. That's why Andrew's smiling like that, because he knows it's not over. Just think how many people in the public would accept him no matter what. No matter what. They just have to win over the handful of people that are not going to accept him. Let me see. Okay. Insiders reveal why Prince William and Kate Middleton seemingly reconciled with disgraced Prince Andrew in their latest outing. Now, remember, that was August 30th, 2023. Look at the big smile on Kate's face. So, yeah, that was a while ago, but he's not any more guilty today than he was then. That's the interesting part, is that he wasn't arrested because of anything to do with trafficking. He was arrested for abusing his position as trade envoy. And that's all it was, an arrest. Nothing is going to happen. He'll probably make his big move if and when Charles goes before him. If he goes before Andrew, he will probably try to use the backdrop of a state funeral to make his big move back into the public's good graces. Huh. Okay. Amanda Playtell. This is the third time. This is the third time. I keep putting this off because around this point, I'm like, oh my goodness, I've been on for 2 hours. I will get back to this tomorrow. Well, you know what? Today is the day. We're going to get to it. The only problem is I forgot what I was talking about. I forgot what I was going to say. But that's okay. You know me. I'll figure out something to say. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Okay. Let me see here. Get that article up. At this point, it's buried nice and deep. So, Amanda Playtell. Oh, wait, one more thing here. All right. Got it. So, it says here, Harry and Meghan have announced they will be embarking on a, are you guys ready for it? Oh, wait, don't forget to hit the like button, you guys. Please hit the like button. Okay, so they are ready to embark on a pseudo royal tour. It's not a royal tour. It is a pseudo royal tour. So anyway, she says they're headed for a you know what of Australia in mid-April. But do the Sussexes realize they might be heading for a blunder down under? Now, Amanda Playtell, she's from Australia, right? So that means she is an authority on everything. Yeah. So their last trip to Oz was in 2018 when the newly married Sussexes, who had announced they were pregnant with their first child, the day before touching down, were welcomed by cheering monarchists, waving Union Jack flags and throwing kangaroo paws, flowers, and roses in their path. Now, okay, there's one little error there. The pregnancy was not announced until they arrived in Australia. It was not announced before because there was speculation at the wedding because of the coat she wore, right? So, yes, maybe members of the immediate family knew it, but it was announced to the world when they arrived in Australia. So she is absolutely in error with that statement, but that never stopped her before. It continues, but if they think this trip will be anything like those heady days, they are in for a rude awakening. Even before they arrive, questions are already being asked about why non-royals, non-royals, Meghan and Harry, are visiting their country when the last time they saw King Charles and Queen Godzilla was 2 years ago, and William and Kate not since 2014. Well, you know what? Isn't that what the whole thing is about? The fact that they are going there now and William and Kate has not been there for 12 years? Is that right? They haven't been to us. William and Kate have not been to Australia for 12 years. The Prince of Wales, let me get this right. The new Prince of Wales has not been to Australia. Do you see why there's so much pushback? Do you see why there's so much pushback? So much for the special relationship with the head and future head of state. So much for the special relationship with the head and the future head of state. Indeed, constitutional experts in Oz predict Harry and Meghan's visit will provide a lightning rod for Australia Republicans, igniting further debate about whether King Charles should remain their head of state or, shockingly, whether there need be one at all. Well, somehow I think Australia could get along just fine without King Charles. Inevitable questions are being asked about why there haven't been more frequent visits by senior members of the royal family. With the king's ill health and Kate's recovery from cancer, the spotlight has been thrown on to Prince William. Some are rudely asking online, does William even want to be our next head of state or not? You see there? This is a kind of odd because usually it's a story about other family members and then the focus is on Harry and Meghan. But for this thing here, this article she wrote, the story is supposed to be about Harry and Meghan, but instead she is using it as an appeal to have the others, the left behind royals, please come and visit us. Other questions, quite understandably, the relevance of Charles and William has to a modern Australia when they live half a world away. It was surely not the Sussex's intention to cause discomfort for Charles or William. Harry is there to further his involvement with the armed forces and veteran communities for his admirable Invictus Games initiatives. There are reports that Meghan is due to appear as a guest on Her Best Life podcast launched. Oh yeah, you guys, I almost forgot about that. Meghan is going to be on the podcast. You know, I've been so focused on the retreat itself, I forgot about the podcast. Thank you, Amanda Playtell. I forgot all about that. Anyway, so Meghan is going to be on Her Best Life podcast, launched and co-hosted by Aussie radio star Jackie O. Henderson. Perhaps she's looking to promote her As Ever lifestyle brand. Now her Netflix deal is over. She is still saying that the Netflix deal is over. Amanda Playtell is still saying that the Netflix deal is over. As Ever is still selling products. And Amanda Playtell says now that her As Ever lifestyle brand and her Netflix deal is over. That's crazy. Anyway, but I fear what the Sussexes don't realize is that the Australia they visited in 2018 is no longer a photo op destination for royals or indeed non-royals. Well, you know what? That should not affect them because they are not non-royals. So the non-royal part, that is so insulting. It really is insulting. You could just as easily say non-working royal, but instead just non-royals. Anyway, to further their interests and causes or monetize themselves. And if they're expecting locals to be gushingly grateful, they got another thing coming. Well, they're not doing a walkabout. There is no plans for a walkabout. They have a very, wait a minute, where is that? While I'm doing this, I want to put that up there. There we go. Because the reality is that the Aussie attitude toward the royal family has changed dramatically in the past 8 years. When the late Queen was alive, she had an 83% approval rating among Australians, but her death only heightened the now ferocious debate between monarchists and Republicans, one which will flare up like an Aussie Barbie with a squirt of lighter fuel when the Sussexes arrive. Now, that is wishful thinking. Charles' approval rating is now only 59%. So, the Sussexes are as working royals once enjoyed such approval in Oz that there were fears it would eclipse that of Prince William and what's her name? Well, the truth is, it did eclipse them, and that is why they had to run for their lives. It wasn't just a fear that they would eclipse um, Willie Leaks and Catherine. They did eclipse them, and that was the problem. That's why they had to leave, because they were eclipsed big time. Otherwise, we wouldn't even be subject to this conversation right now. So, by the way, let me share this with you. I have a little something that I want to share. Speaking of fear that they would eclipse Will and Kate, okay? It was more than a fear, it was a reality. Oh, wait, am I in the right place here? Okay. Okay. Why is that not working? Wait a minute. Wait. I got it here. Give me just a second. It's worth waiting for, trust me. If one can find it. And I thought for certain I had that handy, but maybe I don't. The Lagrange Pacific. That's what I'm looking for. Lagrange Pacific Hotel. Okay, give me the Lagrange Pacific. It's French. I mean, well, I'm trying to say it with a French accent. Lagrange. Uh-huh. Okay, never mind. I don't see it. Wait, there's one more place I can look for it. One more place. Give me just a second. Lagrange. Oh. Ah, okay. Okay. Okay, so my organizational organ anyway, I didn't organize it well. Okay. I was trying to say organizational skills. Good God, that was tough. Uh-huh. Okay. Here goes. Okay, it don't go. Wait, don't go nowhere, you guys. Give me a chance to get this. It's so worth it. Okay. Okay. I got it. Okay. And I don't got it. All right, never mind. I'll just skip it. For now. I'll skip it for now. Okay. Uh-huh. Okay, I got it. Okay, so there you go. Now that was what, Fiji, right? They were in Fiji. The Oceania tour that Harry and Meghan took after they were wed and they went off to do the Oceania tour. The reception was probably, if not the biggest ever, maybe the second biggest, second only to Princess Diana. It was huge. It was huge. And I bet you that William and Kate, they have not gone back to Australia because they do not want the disappointment of their trip to the Caribbean, where they pretty much lost half of the Commonwealth and came home with a bill for $335 trillion, right? Not only did they practically lose half the Commonwealth, but they came back in debt. They came back and they were in debt. According to Trenchtown, man, they owed a hell of a lot of money. Trenchtown?
Yes, Prince. Trenchtown wants $245 billion. That's what Trenchtown wants. $345 billion. Yes, thank you. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That's what Trenchtown wants. Yes. What do you mean?
See, they came back in debt. That happened to Will and Kate. Their tour of the Caribbean was a disaster. And I don't think they've done much since, have they? When was the last time they've gone on a tour? Seriously, though. I'm not even trying to be funny now. But when was the last time Will and Kate went on a royal tour? Anybody? Let's not count the Earth Shot. What was the last royal tour? Now, Charles went to Kenya, even though he has cancer. What does it keep Kate from going to Australia? If she can get up on those skis, then she can get on a cross-Atlantic, cross-Pacific flight. What is it keeping her from doing it? There are people in very fragile health that travel all the time. And we're talking about someone who can jump on a pair of skis and go up and down the hill like the best of them. But they won't go, will they? Because they're not going to get that same type of enthusiasm. It's going to be very flat. They didn't get it really the first time. Huh? They didn't get it the first time. This is not going to happen for them. They'll never get this. Ever. That is just not possible for them. Yep, not meant for them. Not meant for them. So anyway, this is a very short article. Let me finish up here. Oh, okay, here we go. So the Sussexes, as working royals, once enjoyed approval in Oz that some feared would eclipse Willie Leakes and Kitty. But that was before they quit for sunnier shores in California. Let me translate that. That is before they were driven out of the UK by a well-organized hate campaign, which I will allege was orchestrated by Kensington Palace, allegedly. But anyway, and Clarence House too. So they went to sunnier shores in California. They have broken 2 golden Aussie rules: no snitching and no whinging. Okay, let me fix this one. Who has been whinging and whinging and whinging nonstop since Harry and Meghan left? William and Kate. That's all we get from them. As a matter of fact, Amanda Platel is one of the people that has pretty much called them out for it. She has called them out for their whinging and complaining and moaning. She's the one that fears the fact that they moved to Forest Lodge with nothing but more complaints and another new home. But I'm going to leave that as it is. Since leaving the royal family and will not be embraced as they once were, their popularity has plummeted, with Meghan's ratings at 55% unfavorability and Harry's at 40%. Or as I like to say, the emotional support polls. That means nothing. Those polls are highly curated for a particular outcome. What they perhaps haven't taken on board, as I have on my frequent trips back to Australia, is that all the reverence for the royals, so ingrained in both of me and my parents' generation, has been all but extinguished. I think there's a lot of recent. Well, anyway, I'll keep that one to myself. Few 6-month pregnant women these days would run 5 blocks in 40-degree Celsius heat to catch a glimpse of the Queen passing by in her carriage, as my mom did. Oh, okay. This is interesting. That world has gone. Respect for the British royal family and the monarch's constitutional right to be head of state is no longer a given. Support for it is at an all-time low. It is fragile. Islam is now the second largest religion in Australia. Why should Muslim communities honor a royal family constitutionally linked to the Church of England? She is really grasping. So the arrival of 2 non-working royals will infuriate Republicans and further focus their arguments, especially among Generation Z. Now, see, that's how you know she really got it wrong. Generation Z love the Sussexes. Anyway, especially among Generation Z, who cannot see the point of bowing and scraping to what they view as an antiquated concept of inheritance, wealth, and privilege bestowed on people who live half a world away. This almost seems like she did a cut and paste. It looked like she lifted words from an old article and just pasted right on the end of a new article. As the Australian journalist Tom Sykes wrote on his Substack, The Royalists, after the announcement of Harry and Meghan's not royal tour, she did it again. Okay. The couple are likely to stir not affection, but a bonfire of resentment. He's right, because if there is one thing I know about Aussies, we bow to no one. Okay, well, we will see, Amanda Playtell. We shall see. Well, hello, Victoria, always. Thank you for your comment. Hey, Legs, thanks for joining us. Anyway, Amanda Playtell's opinion, surely not shared by most people. Oh, let me read 3 of the comments at the bottom of the article. As an anti-monarchist by design, I'm an American. The people of England have been what is that? With the monarchy for 1,500 years. You all have been through much worse drama than Andrew, Harry. Oh, that's ugly. Uh-huh. Oh, those are evil comments. Never mind. Those are really hateful. Oh, well, no matter. Now, take a look here. I don't know who created this, but I love it. As you can see there, this is Queen Elizabeth speaking from the grave. Camilla Tominey, Tom Bowers, and Hugo Vickers. The Queen is actually speaking to them from the grave. I was wondering, how is it they have this contemporaneous conversation about all of the things that the Queen feels and hates and loves and thought about, and everything pretty much the Queen could have possibly have ever said. I'm like, why does it sound so new, so real, and so fresh? Well, that's because somehow they have managed to get word from the Queen directly from the grave. They have gone graveside to get word from the Queen. So that is how it's done. They have gone to the grave to get word from Her Madge. It's probably why they never run out of things that the Queen once said. It says a lot about the tabloids and others stick to the talking points that the monarchy has been around for 1,000 years, as if it needs to be preserved and honored. I agree with that. Now, inside the Duchess of Sussex's greatest betrayal of the Queen and why it would have broken her heart if she were still alive. Now, this is an article from April the 16th, 2025. You guys, they are still talking about the same things over and over. The picture of Meghan with the Queen, and the Queen is laughing, right? The picture of Harry and Meghan at the Invictus games. And of course, Meghan doing her medieval times dinner and joust. They just recycle the same stuff over and over again. They have told us 1,000,000 times how the Queen felt about this and how she felt about that. It's rare that they have anything new to introduce. Very rare. I think this was an Amanda Playtell article. But take a look there. With Kate away, Meghan seized her chance to look like the perfect, wholesome mom. Well, it's supposed to be mom entrepreneur. Mama pure. Well, I can't say that word. But then the real royal mummy returned and had the last word. As always, this whole implied competition between the two princesses. The tabloid media were in a panic because they built this entire storyline that involves perfect Kate. But then when Kate was away, as you can see the date there, that's the 21st of March, 2024. When Kate was away, and Meghan, of course, was, doing her royal tours and such, there was sheer panic because they just did not have Kate as the anti-Meghan element. They didn't have that Kate to, the whole comparison, the whole shop and compare. Meghan is in a league of her own. Okay? She's in a league of her own. And it just bothers them that Meghan will not say the name of anyone in that family. It chews their behind that she will not even mention them. She just has gone about her business. They can't be sure if she will ever return. And I think that's what makes it even worse. Maybe that's why they keep trying to pit one against the other is because they're hoping and praying for some kind of reaction, a reaction that has not come. It was also Amanda Platel who said, "Stay away from Britain, Meghan. You're not welcome here." She's not welcome, but you won't stop talking about her. Poor Meghan, having miraculously planned for what must surely have been months, if not years. The Duchess of Sussex relaunched herself last week as the perfect, wholesome, stay-at-home royal mom of two via her new lifestyle blog, American Riviera Orchard, of course. That's how dated this is. It's the old product name. That was March of 2024. Since she wrote that article, the Sussexes have gone to Nigeria, Colombia, and I want to say they went back and forth to Canada maybe 3 or 4 times, including with the Invictus games. And then, of course, the launch of As Ever. I think that still hadn't happened yet, right? We were still waiting for As Ever because, of course, we thought it was American Riviera Orchard. That article has not aged very well, has it? Just like the one that she wrote, this one, it's not going to age very well. I think we'll come back to it when this trip is over with. We'll come back to that and then have a conversation about it again and see how it compares to her predictions. Let me see. What is she talking about? Harry and Meghan just came back from a Muslim country and were well received. And don't forget, Together Cookbook. Thank you, Harlan Baker. Thank you very much. Exactly. But of course, listening to her, she implies that there's some type of hostility from the Muslim community. And yes, there is the cookbook. And then also, what about the Afghan women that the Sussexes and their foundation has helped in the U.S.? So there's that. Not to mention their World Central Kitchen contributions. Yeah, thank you, Harlan Baker. And Lex says, I personally feel that they want Meghan back in the UK so they can make up some stories about her. It will look pathetic in 10 years. We are at 6 years. Jeez. Thank you, Legs. It's only been 6 years. It seemed like it has been decades, doesn't it? They have crammed so much nonsense into 6 years. And maybe that's why so many articles just keep repeating and repeating. Because remember, there was only 18 months that the Sussexes were married and in the UK. They have spent far more time married away from the UK. And if you combine the time of courtship and the 18 months of marriage, again, they have spent far more time away from the UK than they spent in the UK. So what does that tell you? Let me see. They have gotten past the 7-year itch. They met in 2016. This will mark 10 years of their relationship. 10 years. 2026, 10 years of their relationship. They met in 2016. These people are going to be proved so wrong so often. I would love to say that I believe that they'll just give up, but they won't. They will continue trying to gaslight people, trying to brainwash people into the belief that they have it all figured out when they absolutely, positively do not. Thank you, Legs. They're out, he's in. Let us not forget that. Just as I was saying before, the idea that Andrew is not welcome in that family, that Andrew is not wanted at family events, that is for the cameras. When the cameras are off, when nobody's looking, Andrew is still a beloved member of that institution. It almost makes you believe that the Sussexes just aren't tainted enough to fit in. That's what I'm starting to think. But Andrew knows better. That's why Andrew has been so persistent. You know, for a while, I was thinking to myself, why does he keep pushing and pushing and pushing to get attention on camera with that family, knowing the repercussions? The only thing I can think of is that no matter what the critics are saying, no matter what the press and or anti-monarchists are saying, Andrew knows very well that that family is not against him, which is why he keeps his royal protection. I mean, think about that. They took away the royal protection from Prince Harry, whose threat level is probably elevated well above anyone else in the family for various reasons, including having been considered a race traitor for marrying someone of African American descent, for having mixed race children. And yet they took his security away, but not Andrew's. They cut off the money, but not Andrew's. They kicked him out of their grace and favor home, but not Andrew. So there's every reason to believe that Andrew is still a valued and loved member of that family. They care more about the safety and protection of Andrew, the sick old man, than they do about the Sussex children or the Sussexes. If it was up to them, they would much rather see to his safety first, which is exactly what's happening. He is still keeping top notch royal protection, and there was never any question about it. And of course, when it comes to a debate about his royal protection, on occasion they will mention it. But when it comes to the Sussexes and royal protection, that is a talking point from one week to the next. I have no way to do this on my own, but if you were to evaluate exactly how much time has gone into protesting protection for the Sussexes, or even Prince Harry by himself, in comparison to complaining or questioning the protection for Andrew, the sick old man, there would barely be a mention in comparison. Barely a mention. And he's out of all of the people in front of him, what, he's number 8 in line for the throne? Harry, Archie, and Lily, they are before him. And yet their royal protection, non-existent. Now, have you met my 2 boys? Charles III with his good friend Jimmy Savile, or Prince Andrew with his buddy Jeffrey Epstein. And yet, the Queen moved heaven and earth to protect Portraits. Not Porgy, Andrew. Why did I call him that? Queen Elizabeth knew Andrew had working girls in Buckingham Palace, report says. She knew about it. And of course, Hugo Vickers was just on some talk show and he said the Queen knew everything. Eventually, everything got to the Queen. The Queen didn't miss much. She didn't miss anything, he said. So I have no reason to believe that that's not true. I believe it is true that the Queen knew exactly what Andrew was up to. She would have to. The intelligence community, of course, they're supposed to report to the government. The Queen is the government. Well, she was. So, of course, she knew. And yet, the Sussexes were the big problem. Let them tell it. Harry and Meghan running for their lives was the worst thing that has happened to the monarchy in 80 years. What did they know? They knew everything. Hugo Vickers' new book blames Harry and Meghan instead of Andrew for the Queen's distress. He blamed Harry and Meghan. And of course, he's not the only one. There's been others that tried to imply that Harry and Meghan somehow caused the Queen's untimely demise. Untimely at 96 with bone cancer. Yeah. It was all Harry and Meghan's fault. Feminagra said, another week, another royal biography, another round of sources crawling out of the woodwork to tell us with certainty exactly what the late Queen Elizabeth II really thought of Meghan Sussex. And another opportunity for the British press to recycle the same tired narrative while conveniently ignoring the elephant, or rather, the former prince still very much in the room. The latest entry in the We Hate Meghan industrial complex comes courtesy of Hugo Vickers. This is a man who met the Queen 40 times and has now condensed those encounters into a 400-page book designed to do exactly what royal biographies do best. That is, generate headlines, sell copies, and remind everyone that the Sussexes remain the monarchy's favorite punching bag. Even 6 years after they left the country and stopped taking taxpayers' money. Even after all that, they are still the favorite punching bag. In extracts serialized by the Daily Mail, because, of course, Vickers makes a series of explosive claims. The distress Harry and Meghan caused the Queen in her final years cannot be overestimated. He writes, they were demanding as they broke protocol. Meghan allegedly refused to consult the Queen about her wedding veil. Prince Philip called her the American. Prince William warned Prince Harry to take more time. The christening was handled that is badly. The Oprah interview was sickening. The naming of Lilibet was insensitive to say the least. But you know what? Let me say something about the Oprah interview. And I know most of you guys know this, but just in case there's someone who has never heard it this way before, but I'm just going to remind people that Harry and Meghan said absolutely nothing about that institution for a solid year, from March of 2020 to March of 2021. That was a whole year of leaking and briefing from both the palaces, mostly from Kensington Palace. A whole year of leaking and briefing. As Harry said, they'd hoped that it would stop, that if they didn't say anything for a year, that it would stop. But the plot against them continued. Unabated, it continued. So they thought, well, if we tell our story to Oprah, maybe the public will better understand why we had to leave. And of course, Meghan said she thought the big takeaway from the Oprah Winfrey interview would be the idea that she was thinking about self-harm, that she could not stop thinking about not being in this world any longer. She thought that that's what people would be shocked by. But instead, the tabloid media made it all about who is the racist. And it should be said, the Sussexes never said racist. They never said that. They said there seemed to be some abnormal, that's my word, of course, obsession with the baby's skin color. And so the press went around and they found enough black people that they could possibly drag out of wherever they could to say, oh, my family talks about that stuff all the time. Okay, but your family is not the royal family. Your family is not the whitest institution in the land. Your family wasn't a signator to the transatlantic slave trade, right? I'm pretty sure your family is not obsessed with breeding and legacies and heritage and manor houses and such. So it takes on a whole different tone when people compare breeding of dogs and horses to people. It takes on a whole different tone, especially if someone has married into the family from another country. Of course, there is going to be a bit of anxiety about someone being obsessed with your baby's skin color. But no one saw it that way. They said that they were just, But yeah, so those are the two things, is that they did not even mention race. That came from the press. The press said, who is the racist? The press said they accused the royal family of being racist. That has been forgotten over time. And then, of course, they came up with the 17 talking points, the 17 things that they lied about. They didn't get it wrong. They just lied. On 17 different points, Harry and Meghan just lied. Not any type of ambiguity. I see it this way. You see it that way. No, they just flat out lied. Now, no one can tell you what those 17 things are, but you repeat 17 over and over again, and that is what people have taken away from the Royal Rota and all of the, so-called journalists. That is how I remember it. That is how I understand it. And good luck trying to watch that interview again, because once Oprah Winfrey takes something off the air, you'll never see it again. You will never see it again. So if you were not able to record it, you will not find it. Oprah's like Beyonce. You only gonna see what she wants you to see. And not much else. And not much else. I'm surprised that there hasn't been a documentary about the making of the documentary. You know what I mean? It seems like they should have a documentary about how it was put together. That would be very interesting. I mean, it was like the biggest interview of that year, wasn't it? And since then, I don't think there's been a bigger interview. Was Meghan welcomed with, you know what? I'm going to do this. This is a Feminager article. I'm going to put the link in the chat if you guys want to go back and take another look at it. I don't think I've ever shared this article before, but I don't want to do the whole thing right now. So I will pin that to the top of the chat, and you guys can have at it in your own time. Okay? But remember, they're out and he's still in, whatever they say. The jailbird is still a valued member of the family. And don't let anybody tell you different. James O'Brien expresses his sympathies for the late Queen following the arrest of her son, Andrew Mountbatten-Windsor. You know, for what it's worth, I think anyone would feel some sympathy for a mother knowing that her son has been arrested for something. So, you know, that the Queen could be a very sympathetic character, and so it should come as no surprise that it's that there are people who are glad that she did not have to witness her son being arrested. But the thing is, she paid the 12 million pounds for him. So I would imagine that having to pay out 12 million pounds for something her son didn't do to people that he never met would be far more painful than knowing that he was arrested. So that's just my guess. I think that would be far more painful. Okay. Yeah, 12 million. Oh, and let's see. Omen Scobie. Prince Harry was forced to become 100% self-sufficient after stepping back from his royal role, that is. But Andrew, though a short list of honors worse off, will continue to luxuriate in nearly all of the trappings of royal life. And you know what? He was absolutely right. He was absolutely right. Since he wrote that a couple years ago, I think it was, Andrew, actually, no, I think the Queen was still alive when he wrote that tweet. Andrew has only just now given up the Royal Lodge. Like what? Maybe just a couple months ago or something like that. Otherwise, nothing really changed for him after the Queen shelled out that money. Not a lot changed for him. Yeah, and I just dug these out. You know, sometimes when I'm putting my slides together, I find some stuff just to remind you of some of the things that has been said in the not so distant past, such as this one, Harry defies Queen ban. And of course, part of the sadistic treatment from the tabloids is that they have to make a big public declaration about them being banned from the balcony. And of course, always trying to link Harry and Meghan to Andrew as if they've done anything close to what he's done. They haven't done anything but left. They haven't done anything but sought their independence. Huh. Only working royals. Oh, there's a good one. Would you boo? Remember this one? Would you boo Meghan and Harry if they appear on the palace balcony? I think it is just so perfect that they were trying to conjure up hostility against the Sussexes. But who are the ones that are being booed? Who is getting booed? All of the rest of them. All of them. They even booed the children. Trooping the colors. It was a big boo fest. How poetic. How perfect. The tabloids were working overtime trying to conjure up enough hostility to ruin things for the Sussexes. And who's sorry now? Who's crying now? Look at Andrew. See there? Probably got his hand in her purse. Doesn't look like his hand is in her purse. I mean, look at his body language. Look like his hand is in his purse. Get your hand out your mama's purse. Get your hand out your mama's purse. Pitiful. Keep your friends close and keep your perverted son closer. A bulletin from the First Lady. I'm not Epstein victim. She is not a victim of Epstein. She's not Epstein Wickham. Okay? Just for the record, she is not a Wickham. Just in case. Anyway, you guys, I'm not even going to go into this thing about her, but let me tell you something. This is some of the juiciest stuff. Apparently, there is a friend. The guy, I think he's ambassador or something. I forgot what he is, but her friend of 20 years plus knows all the dirt, right? Well, anyway, the guy that her friend was married to, he used his connections to get his wife or his ex-wife arrested by ICE. And she stayed in an ICE facility for like 2 months and then got deported to Brazil. Well, there was a custody hearing in Brazil. And before they could enforce the judge's ruling that he had to give custody back to his wife, he grabbed his kid and fled the country. He left Brazil. And so his wife decided that she was going to go after everyone. And so that is why the victim, or the one that's not a victim, that is why she made that speech. Because there is some stuff. This woman says she's got pictures and dates and everything. Everything. She's got all kind of dirt on both of them. So I know. I know. Yep. And she's like threatening to sue everybody. Oh, she's in a lot of trouble. They're in a lot of trouble. Right? It is just juicy. That is some juicy gossip there. Uh. Oh, you guys, if you're going to go through the Straits of Hormuz, remember to make sure you stop at the toll booth. There is now a toll booth at the Straits of Hormuz. So, FYI, if you find yourself in the neighborhood and you have to go, you know, through that area, just remember to pay your toll. Otherwise, they might blow your ship out the water. So, see there? Hormuz Strait Toll Plaza. I saw this and I screamed. I thought this was so funny. Now, let me see. It's an interesting phenomenon. I intensely dislike someone, avoid them at all costs. I don't, you know what? I forgot what this was about. So I have been putting this one off for like 3 days, but let's find out together, shall we? I forgot what it was about. I'm sure it was something interesting.
That anyone who is hating on you, anyone that, the further to my theory, that anyone who is hating on you, anyone that is stalking your social media and can't stop looking at you and what you're doing is not a hater. They're actually in love with you. As always, nothing exemplifies this more than Meghan Markle's haters. And this was a post that I saw on Twitter, and I laughed so hard because it's like when you really listen to what these people are saying and how deeply they pay attention to the people that they say that they dislike, you do understand that it's love. They're in love. They're obsessed. And let's read this together. I cut off the author because we don't need to publicize these sad people, but let's talk about this post. Okay, made myself itty bitty so we could read this. Now, apparently she's on the mailing list. She's a hater, but she's subscribed. I love it. Again, like, come on, people. Why are you acting like a lover if you're a hater? Anyway, let's move on. And so she writes, Meghan, in her latest email, trying desperately to portray herself as unbothered and gracefully unaffected by the latest wave of scathing remarks coming her way. Now let's pause there. This is amazing because, again, she's a hater, and yeah, there's been some negative press lately. It's really weird. It's almost like another member of the royal family, Andrew, got some negative press, and it was like building, and then all of a sudden it's like Meghan's getting negative press. It's so weird. Anyway, okay, so she's getting negative press, and Meghan's ignoring it, of course, because that's what you do. You have to ignore these people because they never stop. If you make a reaction, they'll make hay out of that. If you say nothing, they make hay out of that. But in this person's mind, Meghan isn't unbothered and gracefully unaffected. She's trying desperately to portray herself as that. Well, actually, she's doing a real good job of portraying herself as unbothered and gracefully unaffected because that's what she is. But because these people are haters, see, they actually see the real Meghan. They know she's unbothered. They know she's gracefully unaffected, but they have to lie about her because they hate her. They have to come up with a reason why they're so obsessed. And this person's reason is she's all fake. She's a liar. And it's just crazy to watch her pretend to be something she's not. But if this person didn't give her deep, deep love for Meghan Markle away in the first paragraph, the second one seals it. Listen to this. Here she is in her sheer, it's not a sheer dress, actually. If you look at the photo, it's not. Here she is in her sheer Diana-like white virginal dress, barefoot in the garden, she's softly elevating her arms as if delicately picking fruit from her backyard orchard tree while gently raising her feet in a faux ballet pose, all in an effort to appear warm, gentle, inviting, and effortlessly easygoing. Girl, you said it, not anyone else. Like this person. Look at the poetry she just wrote about, like, this is amazing. Like, if she wasn't a hater, maybe Markle would hire her to write copy, because this is great. Like, I didn't notice the Diana White, like, virginal dress. I didn't notice she was barefoot. I didn't notice the softly elevating her arms. She softly elevated her arms to my face and then kissed me. That's what she really wanted to write. But because she's pretending to be a hater, after she writes this florid prose about the woman she loves, Meghan, she ends with, "We all know the truth is the complete opposite." Ma'am, the only truth that's a complete opposite is that you are not a hater. You're in love. You are in love. My favorite thing to do when I see posts like this on Twitter, which is probably why I see more posts like this on Twitter, is I always comment with, "You can't stop watching." Get mad because it's true. So for
Okay, I like her. Let me try to figure out who she is, just so that we make sure she gets credit for her work. I saw her on someone's Twitter, but I don't see who she is. Oh, is it Valley Girl 6629? Let me try that. On TikTok. Valley Girl. Nope, that's not her. That is not her. Did I spell it right? Yeah, but that's not her. Oh, maybe it's not. Well, anyway. No, but that's not her. Neb. Oh, wait. Is it? Oh, yes, no. Well, I'm looking at two different people. That's what the problem is. No, not her. Not her. That's someone else. Never mind, you guys. But I will try to figure out who she is, and I will make sure that I share that with you, because whatever platform she's on, definitely worth a follow. Now, this one is very deep. I think what I meant for this one was that you would substitute one person for another, if you know what I mean. What he's talking about, well, I'll let you see, but it's very deep, and we'll talk about it on the other side.
I've been noticing for years that the Trump cult is absolutely obsessed with Barack Obama. So I decided to do some research to try and find out why the MAGA cult is so obsessed with Obama. Barack Obama has not been president for 10 years, and MAGA can't stop talking about him. They're literally obsessed with the man. They try and blame him for things that are happening today.
Harry and Meghan have not been in the UK for how long? 6 years?
That's not random. There's a psychological reason for that, although it seems a little creepy. Here are the 4 reasons the Trump cult is obsessed with President Obama. 1. The psychological wage of whiteness. In 1935, sociologist W.E.B. Du Bois at Atlanta University studied poor white Americans. White Americans, even the poor ones, with no money and no power, felt superior to Black Americans. Not because they earned it, but because for 250 years, the entire system told them they were superior to Black people. The law said it, the church said it, the culture said it. Du Bois called it the psychological wage of whiteness. This is a status payment people collect just for being white, a floor that white people couldn't fall beneath. Then Barack Obama became president. He occupied the highest status role in the country. That destroyed the floor. And when a status floor breaks, people don't quietly adjust. They backlash. Obama didn't just win an election. He took something they didn't even know they were depending on. They didn't earn this special status, but they thought it was stolen when Barack Obama got elected. And they've been trying to take it back ever since. 2. Social identity threat. Psychologist Henry Teifel at the University of Bristol spent decades studying in-group conflict. What he found was when a member of an outgroup outperforms the in-group, the psychological response is not one of admiration, but hostility. Teifel called this social identity threat. A failed Black president would have confirmed the Trump cult's worldview, but Obama being polished, competent, scandal-free, and widely respected by world leaders made it impossible to call him incompetent. The better Obama performed, the more threatening he became to the cult, not because of his policies, but because his success directly contradicted everything they believe about the natural order of things. He wasn't supposed to be better. He wasn't supposed to be a gentleman and a scholar, and yet he was. That doesn't just go away. When weak, mediocre people see someone they believe was inferior reach the highest office in the country, they don't get inspired. They become filled with rage. They feel lied to, and they need someone to blame for the hate and rage. That target is Obama, everything they could never be. 3. Scapegoating. Obama left office in 2017, but his name never left the conversation because Trump spent more than a decade smearing his name. It all started before Trump was even president. Trump spent years pushing the birther conspiracy, claiming Obama wasn't American, wasn't legitimate, wasn't one of us. That wasn't politics. That was a deliberate effort to strip Obama of his humanity and plant him in the minds of millions as the source of everything wrong. Then when Trump took office, the playbook continued. Every problem needed an explanation. Economy struggling? Obama's fault. Crime rate rising? Obama's fault. Anything going wrong in the country? Obama's fault. Psychologists call this scapegoating. Assign one figure as the source of all your problems and anxiety, which then collapses onto that single target. It feels like clarity to his followers. It feels like understanding. It isn't. Trump didn't just keep Obama's name alive. He spent over a decade turning him into the villain of the story. And to the Trump cult members, this story still is true. 4. Cognitive dissonance. Here's what made the obsession permanent. The MAGA cult couldn't call Obama corrupt. There were no scandals. They couldn't call him incompetent. The record didn't support it. They couldn't even call him unpresidential. He was polished, disciplined, and respected around the world. Psychologist Leon Festinger at Stanford University studied what happens when people are confronted with evidence that contradicts their deeply held beliefs. Weak people don't update their beliefs when confronted with contradicting evidence. They double down on their original beliefs. Festinger called this cognitive dissonance. MAGA was left holding a belief system that Obama's entire existence disproved. And instead of resolving that contradiction by updating their worldview, they resolved it by hating him harder. The obsession isn't just political, it's psychological, and it has nowhere left to go. So it goes out onto everyone else in rage and obsession. Obama is living proof that the psychological wage of whiteness doesn't exist anymore. And to weak people who never earned that status in the first place, it feels like an identity crisis. So they obsess more, say his name more, talk about him obsessively all the time. They even have a name for this now, Obama derangement syndrome, because Obama didn't just win the presidency. He broke a hierarchy millions of people thought was permanent, and they've been trying to undo that moment ever since.
I told you, all you had to do was just substitute a couple names and it plays out the very same way. It plays out the very same way. The excellence that is the Sussexes, the excellence that is Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex, it's alarming. They cannot allow them to succeed no matter what. And even their successes are painted with it had to have been some deception. They had to have gamed the system. They're buying this support. They're paying for those content creators. There's always an excuse for it. William, by an accident of birth, has inherited $1 billion duchy. No doubt that in his lifetime, Prince Harry is going to earn $1 billion. It's going to be interesting to see how many people are still willing to believe that the money earned by the Sussexes had to have been some huge con job in comparison to that of the Welleses, where everything has been given. Be interesting to see how they spin that. Even now, knowing everything we know about William and his father being compared to slumlords, there are many people who will never see it that way. They will blame the people around them, or they'll even find some kind of way to blame the Sussexes. Well, if it wasn't for Harry and Meghan, he may have taken more time to help those people. They'll think of something. They always do. It's as I said so many times, and I suspect there are still some people who are listening to me, but they just don't quite believe it. That whenever there is a person of color, whenever there is a person of African descent in particular, all of a sudden everything changes. Everything changes. The body language changes, the mood changes, everything changes. Not for everybody, of course, but for certain people, it's all they could think about. That American, right? And of course, the whole idea that the press would actually compare Meghan's upbringing to street gangs. And of course, one of the members of the press even subscribed to this idea that Doria went to jail. She even believed the worst about Doria. Not that she saw the information firsthand, but it just seemed to fit. Dreadlocks, nose ring, LA, drugs, prison. Don't do any due diligence. Just quote the derangers, and that's good enough. Lets you know where they spend their time online, doesn't it? But yeah, all you had to do was substitute some names. Very same, very similar. So many parts of that, you could just swap a couple of names or a couple of locations or titles, whatever. Just swap them, and it's the same story. Yeah, that was powerful. I have no idea who this guy is. I saw him on Twitter. I don't think that this is his account, though. Someone shared him, but I do not believe that that's his account. So I don't know who he is. But I thought what he said was quite powerful. And yes, Donald Trump was dragging President Obama for years, as though he was some usurper, like he gamed the system, that he was not an American. He's a Muslim. Nobody knows where he comes from. We need to see his birth certificate. His birth certificate. There were quite a few people that were brought to tears when Barack Obama shared his birth certificate. Obama felt it necessary to clear the air after years And this is why I don't like Melania Trump. I do not like her because she went on the Joy Behar show, whatever that little show she used to have. And Joy Behar confronted her. She says, "Why do you keep saying that?" And Melania said, "Because the American people, they deserve to know." And Joy Behar said, "But he did show his birth certificate." No, he didn't. He didn't. That birth certificate has to have, well, I forgot what she said was wrong with it. She said, "I had to show my birth certificate." Did she show her birth certificate? How do we know? But that's why I don't like Melania Trump. And I will never forgive her for taking up the lie that her husband told. And she knew it was a lie. She knew it was a lie. So if there's anybody feeling sympathy for Melania Trump right now, don't. There's nothing sympathetic about her. She's an opportunist just like the rest of those people. All of them, they're opportunists. And they would run over their own mother if they thought they can get some money. If they thought they can get ahead, you would be shocked by some of the things that they'd be willing to do. But there you have it. So do with it what you will. But I thought it was very interesting. I wish I could figure out who he is. I don't know who he is. I don't know. I mean, if you're on Twitter, I can give you the link for that. But otherwise, I have listened to it probably 5 or 6 times now. Not that I didn't really get it the first time, because like I say, I have lived through it. I've seen so many examples of it. Okay, so Richard Eden, I've heard all the nasty rumors and innuendos about the Queen and Andrew's real father. I cannot let this lie. Oh, really? Oh, really? Isn't that something? Somebody then got their knickers in a twist. Richard Eden refuses to accept this idea that Andrew's real father is somebody else, right? Even though he's willing to allow people to say the worst things about the Sussexes, now he wants to put his foot down because one of the most privileged people that has ever lived, Queen Elizabeth, may have had an outside relationship, an extramarital affair, may have had an extramarital affair. Good for her. If that's what happened, good for her. Because Lord knows her husband got around. Philip did everything that Philip wanted to do, and it was okay. So I do hope the Queen managed to have some fun other than talking about horses and dogs and the weather. Jan Moore, who would have imagined things would get so bad and so sour for the royals so soon after we lost the Queen? Just about everybody. I would be surprised if people didn't see that coming. Yeah, just about everybody could imagine that. And again, why wouldn't they? Why would how how could that not happen? I mean, they have gone from Queen Elizabeth regal and resplendent in her regalia to that big sloppy mess on the other side there. A big sloppy mess. I mean, she literally walked out of not the house, she walked out of a palace looking so frumpy. She should have been embarrassed. I'm embarrassed for her. Tacky. Some people will always be tacky. But no, the reason why things are so bad is because the queen stayed around way too long. She was on the throne for what, 70 years? That was about 20 years too many. That was maybe 30 years too many. She should have stepped back a long time ago. Um, I get the idea that you want to, you know, hold the record for the longest time on the throne because other than that, there's not many accomplishments that you could speak of for Queen Elizabeth. All she's done was manage the decline of an empire. Who couldn't do that? But that was too long. And so the monarchy was no longer about the royal family. The monarchy was the queen, and the queen was the monarchy. And that was a huge mistake. Just like it's not a good comparison, but this whole idea of the MAGA movement, once that orange menace is gone, MAGA is going to collapse. MAGA is going to collapse. The type of people that could lie as often as they take a breath, the type of people who could bomb a religious leader in a country that has not done anything to threaten us, the type of person who's willing to do those things to enrich themselves in the most obvious manner you could imagine while serving as president of the United States, there's just not too many people that will get away with that. There are people who will do it, but I don't think too many people will get away with that. That man has ruined the presidency forever. Ruined it because he has made it easy for the next person to come along and do some of the most despicable things. That will be his legacy. The president set a precedence that has ruined the country, that has ruined the presidency. That is what he has done for the United States. Anything else was just by chance. Let's see. Oh, panty enthusiasts drop 1,800 pounds on used bloomers. I've shared this before, but I thought it was funny. I thought I'd do it again. The queen has been around so long, we actually get a chance to see her bloomers. That's what I'm trying to say. That's my argument. If she hadn't been around for 70 years, chances are we would have never have had to cast our eyes upon her bloomers. But because she didn't know when to leave the stage, we are looking at her drawers. Those big, gigantic bloomers, which is weird because she's such a small person, right? And it doesn't help that they're filthy. Oh, well. And then, of course, the indignity that the queen suffered post-mortem when a German waxworks decided to lift the veil on the creation of those figures. And by lifting the veil, they poor Lizzie. I'm sure that the real Lizzie didn't look like that. or that. Jeez. And I just wanted to say with this, remember how they were saying all of the things that the Sussexes has done to the Queen? The Queen didn't like Meghan. No matter what they say, I think the Queen didn't like Kate. I think she loved Meghan. I don't think she liked Kate. I said a long time ago, try to show me some pictures of Kate and the Queen going to church together. It did not happen. You would think that Kate would have spent more time with the Queen so that she could be prepared to ascend the throne, right? No, she did not spend time. And she probably wasn't welcome to do it either. The Queen tolerated Kate. I don't think there was much love for Kate, especially look at what Kate wore the first time they had an outing, looking like she worked in one of those houses. Disrespecting the real Queen. Have no problem with the utter contempt that King Charles showed in making his former mistress queen instead of the queen consort. Yep, so much for Queen Elizabeth's legacy. Well, anyway, you guys, that was it. I am done. Thank you so much. Did not mean to go so long tonight, but it has been a pleasure per usual. Thank you, moderators, as always. And I will see you guys later or tomorrow, whichever comes first. Oh, good night to you too. Oh, that is beautiful. What a beautiful picture. Thank you. Okay, good night, everyone. Okay, cheers. See y'all. Don't forget, the Sussexes will be, what's today's date? The 12th? I'm guessing they're going to get there on the 14th. They're going to get there on the 14th, or at least maybe the 13th. Yeah, maybe they'll be there Monday. Anyway, because Harry's thing is on the, was it the 15th and 16th? And then Meghan is the 17th, 18th, and 19th. And they're going to do some other stuff while they're there. So it's going to be so exciting. You guys get rested up. We are going to have a beautiful trip to Australia to talk about. And I cannot wait. And keep praying for the Sussexes. We have to cover them with prayers because those haters are going to hate. Okay? Cheers.